Hello, hi everyone. Callie, Deidre, hello. How are you guys tonight? Hello, Matilda. Welcome. Are you excited for book club? We have Daja's book. Hello. I'm so excited people are here. Another lovely Wednesday. Yes, it is almost the weekend. Very excited. Hello, welcome back. Excited. I'm gonna wait a minute or two. I see the Discord. It's happening now. Our event is happening now. If you're here and don't know about our Discord, we would love to have you over on the Discord channel. Brought notes? Yes, I'm so excited for notes. I have a few scenes that I enjoyed. I'm really excited to talk about them. So, as always, the first half of this is going to be talking about our Circle of Magic reread. We're on Daja's book. And then the second half is all things Tamora Pierce. But the first half, we will try to really stick to Daja's book. It was really, I loved Daja's book. The hype was real. And so we have notes this time. I have my color-coded system in my notes. There are a couple of things I can't wait to talk about, especially after last week. I feel like my Tamora Pierce prediction skills are spot on at this point. Hello, Megan. Welcome. Please feel free to say hi in the chat. Drop where you are. Make sure, again, we're gonna talk Daja's book first, and then the second half is all things Tamora Pierce. How is everyone this evening? Hello, welcome. This evening I have what I would like to think would be a lovely drink there. Just some like apple juice and a little bit of brandy. And Atlas is joining us this evening. She is down here out of view, but she might make an appearance a little later. Yes, she is the best. Oh, it'll help if this is this way. The love of my life, Miss Atlas. I've been working on a video about maps. I am really excited about it, and a lot of that was inspired by Miss Atlas. I absolutely love maps and all things Atlas. Speaking of which, love. It's a very basic map, but I really love it. It hit all the points that it needed to. Would have loved a scale. Oh, we do have a scale on this one. Yeah, hit all the points we needed to on this one. No critiques like last week's. Fabulous. Hey, y'all. All right. I think let's just jump in and let's start talking about Daja's book. So we'll do Daja's book first half, and then the second half of it again will be all things Tamora Pierce. But if at any point anybody has like accessibility needs or anything, please let me know. I'm going to try to keep up with the chat, but I feel like I'm getting a little bit better at the lives, but we'll see. It's been a week. I'm just so stoked everyone is here. So much of this book is on their minds. Yes. So Daja's book, phenomenal. If you had one word to describe Daja's book or like your reactions to Daja's book, what would it be? I think for me, the idea, like the word merge comes to mind quite a bit. Just the way that their powers were merging, their old selves and their new selves were really merging. I feel like Tamora Pierce, she does quartets really, really well. And I've noticed I really love the third book in her quartets a lot because I think that is that place where the protagonist really starts making decisions about who she'll become. Yeah, evolving, togetherness. I love these. Of evolving, togetherness. I agree so much with both of those. I did feel like this book, a little bit more than the other two, did have a Daja focus, just a slightly more than the other two had on their on their protagonists. One thing that I wanted more from each of the first two books was I wanted more about the main heroine. And I feel like Daja's ultimately delivered on that a little bit more. Let's see what other words. Inner strength, that's a really good one. Literally and figuratively, that happens in here. Hello, welcome. We're talking Daja's book. And if you have a word to describe Daja's book, what would it really be? For me, it was merge. I think their powers are merging. Their old and new are merging. I think the world around them is kind of merging together. And so resilient, that's a really good one. This is a really resilient story. I loved Daja's story overall. There were a couple of things that I wrote down predictions at the beginning as I was going through, and they definitely held up. World building. Oh, I'm so happy you're here. Welcome, welcome. We're talking Daja's book. More details, but we got so many more details about the world. I have a whole tab about the world. We got a lot about their religion too. It was the first time I think I really grasped the idea that there were two major religions. Acceptance, that's another really good word to describe this. And the world building is really, really good. I think this is another thing that Tamora Pierce does really well in the third books is she takes the world that you know and expands it. And so we see this in, I think really especially in the first two trilogies. You can hear my other puppy wanted to join. They traveled. Yes. Get to see more of the world and different cultures. I think that was something that was done really well in this. Learning more about Daja's culture and the way that it kept coming back to points we already know while expanding into something new. The culture drop for the traders. The traders. It was such an interesting look into Daja's history. And like we talked about last week, Frostpine's history came out in this. I was really hoping it would show up a little bit earlier. Once we got Frostpine's history, I wanted it to show up a little bit earlier, but I'm so glad that we got it. The responsibilities for the Duke, I agree. Okay, I don't think I want to know the answer to this, but I don't think I like the Duke. I don't think I get good vibes from him. I don't like it. I don't like it. I think he's complicated and I like that, but I think I have the ick right now, and it would be amazing. And I would love it if he turned out to be awesome. But at this point in time, I don't think I like the Duke. The traitor stuff is so bittersweet. Frostpine is dead. Yes. I'm so glad you're here, Jess. Yes, welcome. We all wanted it. I was seeing the same 6 books on TikTok, and so I wanted to pull up my favorite author, and it turns out there are so many of you who also love Tamora Pierce. So again, we're talking Daja's book for Circle of Magic for the first half, and then we're going to dive into all things Tamora Pierce later on the second half. The Duke is so sweet to Sandry and the gang. Okay, he is, and I think that's a well-written character for me, is someone with whom I have conflicting feelings. I can see the way that they're talked about and their actions, but I think he's just kept at arm's length. And so I'm excited for him to unfold. But okay, I love all of this. Ruthless ruler is pretty difficult. Yes. The Duke's trying his best. I do get the sense that the Duke is trying his best, but there's another level here that I feel like I'm not grasping. And when that happens with a character, I'm usually concerned. I'm usually really concerned. Gets more time in Sanders, but okay. I can't wait for him to have more time, because he has too good of intention. And the way he's talked about and around, the way that other characters talk around him. So it reminds you of Cal remembering her father saying he was a great ruler, but not means they are a great person. Yes, I agree with that. I think it's good, complicated character writing, which is why we absolutely love Tamora Pierce. And so we have the Duke. We have what? Polyam? How do we say her name? Polyam? That's come in. With the traitors. Yes, Polyam. I thought that I really liked her because I didn't like her at the beginning, and they fought for her arc. Great. So we'll get more of the Duke. Yes. What he was like at sea. The prosthetic. I know. So part of my background, I've done a lot of work in disability advocacy on every level, and just it was a really good disabled character. I thought it was really well balanced. The way that the prosthetic came through in the end, it wasn't we're going to fix you. It was, we have the ability to make your life easier and to make something unique for you. It was perfect. Absolutely perfect. They did, yes. I completely agree with you. Like, they did address disability and how it looked across cultures, and I think they really focused in on like the acquired disability piece of it, and I thought that they discussed it and presented it in a way that wasn't just milking it for all of the trauma. And one of my favorite, I squealed when they asked to be friends. When Daja and Polyam were like, actually, I was hoping we could be friends. I just delightful, absolutely delightful. Jazzer was just another traitor. They shared each other. There's a line in here that talks about how they each had something to learn. Which also implies that they each had something to teach to each other. And to have that just so made plain was lovely. The living metal leg is such a good creation. I can't wait to see where the living metal goes. And the way I talked about this, even starting in the first live stream, one of the things I'm most interested in seeing is how all of their magic combines in the really creative ways that it shows up. And removable, it was right to her skin, partly, and then she realized Daja was just another traitor. And you wrote that quote. So many good quotes in this. So many just short, to the point, just things like you shouldn't encourage them to turn their power over to anyone. I just opened to a random page and I have things down. So there are so many amazing quotes in here. I really loved, like we said, the traitors. There were a couple of things that I wrote down right immediately off the bat. I was like, I'm so ready for Daja's staff arc. And one of the first things I wrote down in my notes is Daja will get her name back in the books. And I liked what ended up happening better. Let's see. Frostpine needs his own book. I agree. Here, let me help you with that, love. Lark to Rose. Okay. So I have it written down. Where is it? Page 35 in the hardback. My heart sank, okay? Something's going to happen to Rosethorn. That is my prediction. I say it here and now. We cannot build her up like this and have her like have a cough scene, have her be like kind of sick. Something's going to happen and I don't like it. I don't like it because I like her. Briar's jealousy. Yes. When Briar, there are so many things in here. I think there's even a line where he's like, I like it when she gets mean. He loves her so much. His whole world revolves around her. Polyam's fascination and interest with children and their powers is contradiction to her traitor and her pride. Yes, I absolutely see that. I could also see one thing I think I might have just glossed over while I was reading is her age. So if she was kind of around their same age too, I think there would be some just like of that younger curiosity. I think she's older, but I think curiosity always does pull into it. Briar's jealousy, again, I agree with you. All the mentors need their own youthful beginning stories. I agree. Numera's one thing, but where's our back in time for a circle of magic? Okay, she's 23. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. So let's lessons. I also have like the lessons that Triss has learned in previous books are important. And Triss is able to teach them. I think that's an amazing point, is that Triss is able to teach the others and share what she's learning. Particularly when it comes to nature. The fire mage that, of course, gave everyone bad vibes the moment he arrived. There are real consequences for magic in here. And we saw it earlier. We saw it with Triss. She warned. I like that there wasn't an exception. Sandry asking, what do you call that shade of yellow? Yellow, right? That was a good one. The banter. I think the dialogue in this is really authentic, especially for a magical world. There's a line about Briar and Triss not knowing if they want to help people for nothing. There was some good conversations about that. I think there was really good... Everyone brought their own take on money and consumerism and trading into the negotiations. You saw it when Sandry knew a lot about the trader customs and also was able to be like her noble self. And then we also had even Polyam pointing out that Triss was a traitor at her heart. She was absolutely, she's of that Chandler family. From Yert, yes. And then Triss allows herself to teach Daja, yes, about standing up for herself and her craft. I think the dynamics, not just the magical dynamics in the background, but that those personal dynamics are really shining through. And their magical connection that I did initially kind of question. I was like, this seems convenient. Maybe I'm just reading too much with Fated Mates recently, but this is not enough. But now, love it. I think it's perfect the way that they talk to each other. I completely agree with you. The banter, sarcasm really did expand in this book. I think we've also gotten to know these characters more, and the characters know each other more, so they can have more of that back and forth. I really like the way that Sandry and Briar just like kind of pick at each other a little bit. There's a push-pull there I think is fun. I think Daja and Triss have a little bit of that too. They've only been together 6 months. I had to keep reminding myself of that. I had to keep just thinking to myself. I was like, wait, we're not doing a year-long jump. That was another thing I knew we were going to travel, but to already be on the road, that was quite a fantastic way to start. Briar bonding with everyone. we love Briar. And Briar talks on Sandry's hair. Yes, they do. And they have that. There's just like an interesting back and forth. Everyone kind of knows how to rally each other up. Even the moment at the end where they were trying to make Daja angry and she immediately called them out on it. And it was just like, we know. I know what you're trying to do and I don't need it. So I thought that their dynamic is really, really coming into its own. Let's see, what else do I have? Love Daja. We do love Daja. I really thought she opened up a lot more. I think, of course, since it was focused on her, but we got to see a lot more of her inner world. And since she's not somebody to share her inner world externally very often, I really liked learning more about the motivations, the complex past that she has, and how her culture shows up. The next 4 books, they're in faraway lands. I think that'll be exciting. Sibling vibes. Their dynamic is spot on, being 1 and 4. Seems like I'm only one of 2. They thought the tease so much don't really tease each other. Yes, they do. It's like I feel like it's an empowering tease, like a push. Their trust in Triss. Especially because I don't think Triss always trusts herself. Or like Daja using the forge. That was something I really loved seeing. It's like having Daja's view for their intertwined magic. That scene where she creates the living tree, that living copper tree, so cool. If anyone has any fan art of specifically that scene, because I'm avoiding Emelon fan art for now until I finish this series. But if anyone knows of specific fan art around that scene where they create that living tree and Daja's like stuck in it, I would love to see some. because that was something that I visualized so clearly in my head and would love to see come true. Let me catch up on the chat here. Fabulous. I'm so happy everyone is here. And if you've joined recently, I'll let you know, we're doing the first half, we're focusing on Daja's book for Circle of Magic, and the second half we're going to talk about all things Tamora Pierce. And so if you haven't read the Circle of Magic or Daja's book, or if you're just not into that vibe, come join us in like 15-20 minutes. We'd love to have you then too, or you can hang out with us, because we're having a great time. But one thing I would love to hear from everyone about is this question of visualization. So as I said, for that particular area, that particular scene, I could visualize it so clearly. They're in the forge. I could see them all just bent and twisted. But there are other scenes that, even though I pride myself on having a really good imagination, I not struggle with, but it's not as clear or vivid. And one of the main ones is when they're doing their like astro projection magic. And so I'd be curious if other people, like, what their mental images are like, or if they have a really vivid scene from this book that they can envision in their brain. Because sometimes, like, when she's diving into the earth, I'm envisioning some Avatar spirit world. They're just jumping together. And so I'd be curious what you all think. Find it funny that so many non-traders, knowing trader talk and customs irritates. I did find that funny. That was I thought it was funny, but at the same time, I didn't know. I'm still trying to figure out the world. So how isolated are the traders? I feel like the traders are everywhere. Wouldn't it be beneficial? And they're trying to have deals with people. So wouldn't it be beneficial for other people to know about their customs, especially if they are so stuck to it in these moments where they are interacting with outsiders? We do get a glossary this book. Do we? I don't know if I had a glossary in my version. I don't think mine has a glossary in it. It ends very abruptly. We don't even get the second map that we do in the other books. So you must have whatever edition that is. I'm all in. They encourage Triss because she's afraid of her magic, and Daja because she's afraid of her identity. Oh, that's so well put. Love it. So many non-trader, yes. Glossary, but no map. Ooh, interesting. Okay. It was nice to see how other academics perceive the world and their own worth. Oh, I agree. Oh, you picture them as little ghosties that float up? Yeah, I do too. Yeah, it's very... I do have, when I envision books, a lot of the times it is in an animated style of sorts. And so I've been thinking a lot of this very much in an Avatar style animation. So the little ghosties in the spirit world just made so much. You struggle with the astral projection too. Okay. There was a lot of that. Danny Phantom. Perfect. I love it. Lots of floating. Colored energy magic. Ooh, okay. I like that. I use that with Tortal, and their colors, because they use a lot of colors to describe their magic, but no real shape. Yeah. And again, the glossary with no map. That's wild. Okay. Newer version of the covers. I think they did another printing of them. They haven't been in print for a while. I'm picking up all of the ones that I'm missing are at a used bookstore, so I'm excited to go pick them up. The iceberg part confused you. Like, you can't grasp how far away it is. Yes, this one, where's Daja's map? This we do have on the map. We have the iceberg, and as it goes down. But this, again, I don't feel like we have a good home base. I'm working on a map video, I promise everybody. I'm so excited about it. I have criteria, I have lists, everything. But I do think, and I think there's even a little scale. So it's a simple map. It's a really simple map, but I think it gets the job done. I agree. The place that they were didn't seem that cold. I think it must be, I envisioned it as like a really stark elevation change. They were so dry with the forest fires too. 10 miles if they follow the road. And that's one thing. The maps have been not as solid as they are in the other series. But, I mean, it's beautiful. It's just not as useful. In this, I do think it's very, very useful. But I'm really sorry that yours doesn't have a map. I went into some of the Circle of Magic, or the Circle Opens, and they don't have maps. Very, very not happy about that. The iceberg part, yeah. Some of this, like, this was a definite expansion of the world, an expansion of their powers, and it was a bit of not a struggle, it just was very different when I was envisioning it than some of the other ones have. So let's see, we're having so much fun talking about Dajas, but I want to make sure we have time for other things. So I love their power combinations. I do love that they talked about a lot of the issues that I was having that I talked about last week, especially when it came to consent and shared powers, and you all said wait for Frostpine's story. I just wish it would have happened in the book before, but I get why it didn't, because we had to wait for Daja. I understand. I just wish it were a little bit earlier. They also addressed the question I had around, like, power mapping, like whose power is what, how is it overlapping. Loved the weaving power mapping. Loved it. I wish we had a visual. I wanted to see it. I want to see what it looks like. No maps there. Yeah. Your Circle Opens all have maps. I'll have to get another version from the library and see if the reread on Kindle, okay. Thrift books, okay. As long as there are versions out there with maps, we'll be able to find them. Also, the Discord server is phenomenal, and I have not really gotten into them on references section yet, but I'm very excited to jump in there a little deeper and look at some of those maps. I thank you all for not spoiling last week. I appreciate it. There are so many things. I'm sure next week is going to be even harder, especially because I know something's going to happen to Rosethorn. I just know it, and I'm not excited about it. I don't think it'll be... It might be... Who knows? It might be wonderful. She might just get married to Lark, and Briar is the flower girl, and it's all great. But I don't think that's going to happen. You had our time envisioning the weaving because no one stopped. Oh, that's I did not struggle as much with that piece of it, but when it came to when she was specifically describing the different stitches and how it looked, I have something that's in my head, but I know it's just a fraction of what it actually could be. And I'm greedy, and I want to see it all. And yours, okay, 2 of the 4 of yours have maps. We need some consistency, publishers. When Frostpine's power was taken from the mage, he didn't know what type it was. When the magic is taken, it's just raw power. That Frostpine's story opened a lot of questions for me around power. And, like, him feeling it, what is it like? One thing that I don't think is addressed enough, but I hope will be in Briar's, he talks about the struggle he can feel the struggle to bloom in the plants, and Rosethorn can feel them all dying. It feels very dark. And I'm really curious about how each of the individuals feel their power. What's it like when they have it, when they don't? There's a difference between taking the magic and merging the magic. There are a lot of mechanical questions that I have. The type of magic that stays with the individual. Yeah, these are a lot of questions about magic. And I agree. I completely love how they overlap with the craft of magic. Frostpine's back room. I still love Sandry. I think she keeps coming through for her friends in a way that I really admire. My friendships are some of the most important relationships I will ever have, and I love seeing her go so hard. Oh, their astral forms being in danger from the Ladra. That was another one. I was just like, where are we? But again, I really had that like Avatar Aang in the spirit realm form as he was going through. Fantastic. Well, the kids' magic is different than even other mages because they're blended together. Absolutely. Some more plants, yes. It's on them or their actual power. Yes, their magic can express much more alive than what I remember from others. Like with living metal, I think, yeah, that's a really good point. There was a quote, I think in Sandry's book, about how there's magic in every living thing. And then in Triss's book, there was a quote about how there's magic everywhere if you look hard enough for it. And I don't have an equivalent quote right off the top of my head in Daja's, but I think that it's still, that idea is still there, that like it's living, it's the living circle. Are they going to recreate the living circle? I don't know what the living circle is, but are they the new living circle? It is a question I have. Sandry is a queen. I love her confidence, and she knows when to whip it out and when to put it away. The alive metal. Cold lumps of the string appearance, like their totem. I agree. I want to know what's going to happen with this weaving, the map. I feel like that's also going to be very powerful. Living circle is a faith, yes. And they have the two faiths. I'm excited to see that unfold. We love Daja's book. Okay, I know there's so much more to talk about with Daja's book. What are there any last thoughts? I want to make sure that we have time to talk Tamora Pierce too. Just all things Tamora Pierce. But I'm curious, what other thoughts do you have for Daja's book? Is there anything I missed that I should have talked about that will be really relevant, perhaps, that I need to think about? I'm really curious. And the like astral projection I love. The cord with the lumps. Okay, so the circle opens, deals a lot more with explaining the ambient magic and their use on innate things. The trader's faith system doesn't get discussed enough. I want to know more. I agree, especially because a lot of what we see with the trader's faith is around death. So a lot of the quotes are around like Odie Bookkeeper and like may you go with credit on your name, things like that. And it's of course really entwined with their culture. And so I think it feels like we get these like drive-bys of it. And I would love to know more. Her hand melted her hand, sort of like the living metal plant. Yes. I want to know where that's going to go. That'll be interesting. I wonder if it heats up with the forge. I bet she'll be able to control it. Yes, we are quack after all. I completely agree. That's a great point. Fantastic. Okay, any last thoughts before we open the floor to all things Tamora Pierce? They do have a very death-focused religion. Yes. I can imagine like in a lot of those places it would be very present if you are constantly traveling, if you are even at a point where you will exile a young girl because her whole family died and you don't want that luck. It's very focused around, but I want to know what's next. I want to know what they think about what's next. The dog leaves. I doubt that the luggage is not that. Yes. Oh, fabulous. Thank you. They showed the power hierarchy. Yes. I've lived a lot of places. Like I grew up for a little while living on the Navajo Hopi Reservation. I lived in Kenya. I really lived all over and with a lot of different cultures. And so seeing the trader culture, there were a lot of pieces from different cultures that I've experienced show up, and having that be treated in such a respectful way was phenomenal to see. There were certain points where I'm like, oh, I remember this when I had to sit through a 4-hour welcome ceremony before we could even talk about our sleeping arrangements for the night. And so I really love seeing those pieces show up. Yes, she has a bad luck. Hello, welcome over here. Welcome everybody. The etiquette is so interesting. And the series at the university. Fabulous. Fabulous. Welcome everybody. So we're going to open the floor up now. We just finished talking about Daja's book from Circle of Magic. Next week we're going to jump into Briar's book. I'm scared. I'm excited. I'm so excited. But I'm scared. I remember I haven't read these books in probably 20 years at this point, or 15, 20 years. So I remember being very hurt at one point or another while reading Briar's book. And so I've been a little afraid to read it. So please come back next week with Briar's book. And so we're going to open the floor now to all things Tamora Pierce. And I think one thing I want to bring up is the strong communities that are around Tamora Pierce. And if you are part of the Facebook group, there's like an unofficial Facebook fan page or group for Tamora Pierce that is celebrating 19 years. And that blew my mind a little bit when that showed up. And so it's a group there are a little over 8,000 people, I think, a part of that group. I'm pretty sure Tamora Pierce lurks or is in it on occasion. And it's been like the only reason I log on to Facebook for a while. And so I know some of you are also a part of that Facebook group. It's fairly active. There are several posts a day. But that's usually where I go to for all things Tamora Pierce related, even if it's like announcing like the Owl Crate interview. I found out about that because I have alerts for this Facebook group. It's an awesome place. I've been with it. I've been on that Facebook group for almost a decade now, and I hope you all will go there and join. And then another thing we found out. So last week we had an amazing group of people start a Discord server. And so we're on Discord now for our Misfit Book Club. And then there's also like an official Tamora Pierce Discord as well out there. And so I'm so excited that you are all here with me on TikTok Live. And I want you to know that there are tons of other places where you can find Tamora Pierce as a group. And so first of all, Pat, I think we all deserve a round of applause, pat on the back for finding each other, and also knowing that there's so many ravenous fans all over. Yeah, re-download Facebook if you want to, like the group. I really enjoy the group. It's very wholesome. There are a lot of, look at my cool craft. There's routinely some like, here's my cool new Tamora Pierce tattoo. It's an awesome, wholesome place. A nice little corner of the internet. Briar's book again. Yes. Yeah, I'm sure if you love Tamora Pierce and were on Facebook at one point in time, I'm sure you got in there. Her Pride Month post was so sweet. We must have been either like, I'm sure she has somebody help and all of that, but we were posting about Pride the same time. And I loved it. It was a really great one. The name of which one? The Facebook is the unofficial. Let me try to find it. And if anyone else is faster than I am and can drop it in the chat, that would be great. So we have the one for Facebook is called Tamora Pierce's Unofficial Fan Community. Yes, immediately on Facebook. It's a great little corner of the world. I love it. There are memes. I do think you have to answer a couple of questions in order to be accepted, but they were easy enough that I passed. I'm so glad. Yeah, Facebook was not my not my jam either. And I did not originally create this TikTok for Tammy, but once I realized that there were other people who love her as much as I do, I was like, I'm all in. And I've been working on, I think, what will ultimately be YouTube, like a YouTube video with shorter clips that I can put on TikTok. But TikTok's been weird. A lot of my videos, like my video, I always post at least once a day. I really try to post twice a day. But recently, a lot of my posts just haven't been going out at all. And so, like, my one from this morning, I think had 14 views when I logged in for this live. So you might need to come to my page to find some of them. I try to post, this week has been wild, but I try to post like one more deeper, substantive, like one of the lists or something in the morning, and then something silly and fun in the afternoon or evening. And so if you're not seeing them, come hang out on the page. They'll be there. I'm just gonna keep posting. Not all of them are gonna be bangers, but I'm doing a little bit of like content spaghetti because there's just so much to do and say. And so I have I have a lot of Allie content right now. I filmed tons of Allie content yesterday. I think I'm going to ask the Discord server. I'm going to put up a poll in the Discord server to help narrow down the focus for some YouTube videos that'll ultimately cut down for here, including, like I said earlier, I'm working on one about maps. Yes, I don't know what all of this is, but I'm in. I'm working on one about maps, and I'm working on one that I think is going to be way off in the future around like death and mourning and customs. But there are other amazing, like gender something I really want to dive into, and there's so many different facets of it. And so again, I'm curious what other people want to hear more about in Tortall, or not just Tortall, but all things Tamora Pierce. And also, I've been talking this whole time. Please, if you have things about Tammy or you want to talk about and Tammy, please jump it in the chat. I'm going to go back up and see what I've been missing. Yes, good to find these. The questions are easy. Okay, yeah. If you spend time on Facebook, it's I literally only log in for this group. At this point, there's like a couple of meme groups I'll go to if I'm really trying to like mine for memes, but the Tamora Pierce group is incredible. I'm so glad, Katie, that you've enjoyed the post. My philosophy is if I don't want to watch it 6,000 times in a row, I'm not going to post it. Because it's just not worth anybody's time. And when it comes down to it, I'm trying to make the FYP that I want to see. That's what works for me. So many great lines and quotes. Oh, yes. Rereading Kel's book for the last few days. Which one are you on right now for Kel's book? So Kel's phenomenal. Yes, absolutely I love Kel. She was a complicated character for me when she first came out. Because I think I really wrestled with her version of femininity, and just the Yumani like stone face was a lesson I needed to learn but didn't want to. And every time I reread her quartet, I just fell deeper and deeper into love with Cal. She's just phenomenal. Oh, and White Tiger. White Tiger, that's the graphic novel, or it's a Marvel. And I've read it at least once, but I don't have it. I had every single Tamora Pierce, and I lost it in fire a while ago. 100 pages from finishing Lady Night. Oh no. You're in a rough spot. Oh, and you listen to Kel's books during your workout? That's a great idea. I joke that I had to stop getting down upon myself and my body because I'm built like a lioness. I think there are a couple. If anyone knows exactly where these passages are, please let me know. But there's a point where Alana's described a couple of times as having muscles, but like they're not defined. And yes, every time I get down on myself a little bit, I'm like, no, you're just built like a lioness. But listening during the workouts, it's a huge motivator. First intro into Tammy's World. That's a good one. What were people's introduction to Tammy's World? Because I read her in publication order. I vividly remember grabbing the first adventure and taking it home, reading it, and immediately needing every single one that was out. And so I'm really curious how people were introduced to this world. What was your favorite? And Alana ended up being my absolute favorite character, and a lot of that just has to do with when I was introduced to her, the order that I read all of it in. I know that she was just my entry into the world, and she captured me at the right time in my life. High school library had it all. Oh, that's so... And the interview in the back. I love the little pieces in the back. I think that I love reading about the acknowledgments. There are so many things I learned about Tamora Pierce. You were the opposite. Let's see. The Wolf Speaker was the first one. Alana was the intro. Learn to relax her Yamani face. I love that. Alana was the intro. Alana, she's the OG. Wolf Speaker. What? Ray. That's wild. I'm glad that Wolf Speaker grabbed you, because I think out of all of them, Wolf Speaker was the one out of Dane's quartet. Wolf Speaker was the one that I was like, my friend who like when you're young and you gravitate to an animal, my friend who was like the wolf animal. Oh, so it was her favorite book ever of all time. But having to backtrack to Wild Magic, I'm so glad that you stayed on board. The full cast audiobook series. Matilda, yes. Narrated by Tamora Pierce. She does so many of the narrations herself. From the library. Oh, we love libraries. Alana in middle school. Alana, then Circle of Magic. Okay. Okay. Circle of Magic and then Alana. Interesting. I love all these. You read them all out of order. Oh, Wolf Speaker is the one I think of. Yeah. Oh, should you reread Alana, Dane, or Becca next? That's a tricky one. It depends on what order. Are you going to read them all? Is it going to be chronological? Or are you just doing a sampling? The second book being Wolf Thing. Some people are wolf people. I'm all about that. Tamora Pierce did like over a year of research into wolves and their behaviors. She was really connected with a wolf sanctuary for a long time in order to make those books. Or to make that book in particular. Alana is the GOAT. I'm excited. So after we finish the Circle of Magic reread, not just Circle of Magic, we're going to do the whole realm. Then we're going to do a chronological reread of Tortall. And I have not done a chronological reread. I've never done it. I've always started with Alana and ended with Mastiff. Well, I usually end with Tortall and Other Tales. But I think we should do Spies. The Spies handbook as well. We'll throw that in when we do the Tortall reread. So stick with us, because this is not it. We're going to keep going. Becca, a good chronological reread. I'm excited to have a group of people to read Becca's books with, because I think I just struggled with how different they were from the other ones in Tortall. And like one thing I love chapters. I love an index. I love all of the appendices, and I like the maps and all of that. But I want to be able to talk about it with someone. So I'm really, really excited for a reread with Becca. You and your sister will listen to them before bed. Oh, I need to listen. So what I've been doing is I have my physical copies. I also from the library rent the I try to do the audiobook and the physical copy when I can. That way when I can check for pronunciation, which I know I'm not always getting right, but I am trying. Yes, we are. We're going to do Becca's after in chronological order. And the journal writing. I frequently have the thought while reading Becca's books that no one writes in their journal like that. Or at least I don't know anyone who writes in their journal that way. And I understand that she's trying to do it as a record. But even then, there are ways to do that that aren't here's every minute detail in everything. And so it took me out of it a little bit, like halfway through a day, I would forget that it's a journal entry. But I really, I appreciate a risk. I love a writing risk. Yeah, the struggle with the journal entries, I agree. But I think that I usually go into reading Becca's books after finishing the rest of the Tortall books, and so I have that in my head, and so I'm excited to have that flipped the other way around. Out of your project shelf control challenge jar. Yes, you were telling us about that. The misspelling at the beginning from George's mom. Yes! And something to address also with that is that George's age and the years, there's a little bit of discrepancy with how old George actually is because of those books and because of his mom's entries. So George could either be 6 years older than Alana or 20 years older than Alana. Yes, if you would like to read them before book club, by all means, please do. But also know we're gonna do it. We're gonna do book club, and we'll see when we get to those books if we are going to keep the same pace of one a week. That'll be up to you all. I'm fine with that. Works for me. But these books are way heftier than these books, and so we can talk about that. We can burn that bridge when we come to it. See, the second I was that curious to see how you journal. I mean, if you journal that way, I'm all about it. I have an intricate journaling system where it's I have huge life events go in one, daily lists go in another, and then I have a commonplace book that I keep each year. And so I know I journal differently, but I know I'm not writing every single back and forth thought, inner everything, describing everything perfectly in my journal. But I love it if you all are. So let's see, I'm catching up on these. Yes, and she was practicing for reports, but there are ways to do that. I think about I learned how to do anthropological note taking. So when you're in the field and doing field notes, I think that would have been. But of course, we're hundreds of years in a fictional. Hundreds of years in the past in a fictional realm. So, of course, they're not going to have the same journaling techniques. But for me, that was one of the things that took me out of it. And even with all of you here saying, hey, I journal in a way that's similar, love it. That's my favorite part about reading and having these spaces is that you truly understand that your life is unique and individual and at the same time so connected and the same. I love it. Yes, George was described as 17. So he was only supposed to be 6 years in the... Yes, but then I think it's Terrier, it's set in the writing is in 406. So George's mom is writing in 406, talking about how George is 6 years old, putting his birth date at 400. And if that's the case, then that puts him at almost 20 years older than Alana. I did a deep dive on this earlier because one of the topics I do want to talk about are the age gaps, what we're talking about in the chat right now. I think that's an important, we have to talk about Numair. We have to talk about Numair. Oh yeah, you started an Alana reread. Bring it, yes. Love it. Dane was 14. Yeah, I think he was even older. I think Numera's even older. I think Numera's 26 because I believe their age gap is 12 years. Yes. By February, your journaling's like, you did the thing. I understand. That's why I had to like have a different system. I couldn't just sit down and have a journal. I had to figure out what I wanted out of a journal and then pop it in. Yeah, her journal was a little bit like homework. She even talked about, in Becca's, she talked about coming back to it, and how she kept it for the first year. The time skips in Becca's story were a little jarring for me, especially when she had the fiance. I was, excuse me? Do I not get any courting? What is happening? What? Nothing. It all turned out for the best. Not for the best for him, but like I think her story worked out okay, but the time jumps. She does talk about needing to get back to journaling to help with her work. And so I do think it is kind of Dane and Numera together. Yeah. Everybody has, this is going to be such a great topic. It's the age gap thing. It's the mentor-teacher thing. Yeah, there are power dynamic differences. I think one thing that's really interesting for me, there are a lot of, it's very complex. I have so much to say about it. Really wanted Becca to end up with Rasa. I did too, but I understand why Rebecca ended up with Farmer. I think they worked out okay. But I really liked Rosto. Nawat and Allie. Like I said, I filmed a bunch of Allie content the other day, and that had me in their story, and he has this like beautiful paragraph when he comes back to her, and he's like, I don't want to wait for a priest. I don't want to wait for you to have chicks. If I go to the peaceful realms tomorrow, or the day after that, I want to go with the taste of you on my lips. Excuse me. Yes, just the way that he's so sure with her. Yeah, the age gap with her age when the relationship began. Yes. I think it deserves discourse. And Tammy has talked about their relationship as well. I believe she said that she would not have put those ages if she had rewritten the story today. It's like if Daja and Frostbite were a thing, yeah. And the mentor is a both and. Yeah, there's a power differential in certain ways, yes. And her mentor, I agree. Better on the brain. Favorite moment in all the Tortal books. Becca compromising. Yes, I agree with you. I think that Rosso, Becca's moral, I think one thing that I can't wait to talk about a lot with Becca's is her relationship with her work, and her relationship with like the state and the idea, her morals and values and how they show up in her work and in her relationships. I think that's a huge thing that she wrestles with. Let's see what else is going to what. Well, it's just the cutest. Here, yes. Kel and Dom. That would have been a really interesting one. I like that Kel is Kel. I think I think it felt really authentic. Her romance and non-romances felt really authentic. I really like her friendship with Neil is a huge one. Yeah, I agree. They're such a cute couple. And the fanfic, absolutely. Please, highly recommend fanfic if you don't read. Get on there. Get on the fanfic. I'm so stoked. So if you are still here, I'm so happy everyone is here. Just a reminder, we have the Discord server. Please hang out on the Discord server. I'm still learning. I had to make a Discord account in order to hang out on the Discord server. I'm still learning. I had to make a Discord account in order to join the Discord server, and this last week has been a little hectic, and so I'm learning. I'm still learning. So please join us over on the Discord server at any time. I would love to have more of you on there. Does anyone else have other things they want to touch on today for book club? Obviously the relationship piece is a huge one. Should that be something that I prioritize for content to make? Because I feel like this is something that a lot of people have a lot of thoughts and opinions on. And I know I have a lot to say and think about it. But I'm curious, what pieces would you like to see as content or a deep dive? I have a YouTube channel that is reserved called Misfit Manuscript. It is the same username across everything, and I hope to eventually start making longer form content. Not eventually, like imminently. Make longer form content about Tortall pop up there. Or not just Tortall, but Tamora Pierce as a whole. And if anyone has things that they think I should prioritize doing deeper dives into, or even just silly little videos, or what I should think, I'm so curious. What happened between Kel and Dom? Catching up on these comments. I so appreciate how active everybody is in book club. I love it. Same, yes. I do believe that Tammy said that she would see Kel as Ace. And yeah, I agree. Like, it's not something that's not my identity, and it's not something that I can very clearly say, like, these are same feels, but I absolutely could see that for her as a character. Oh, yeah, so you were reading Dana and Age when you were crushing. Yeah, so I have a complicated history with that, and I think it adds, I'm either, like, the best person to talk about it or, like, the worst person to talk. Complicated history with that, and I think it adds, I'm either, like, the best person to talk about it or, like, the worst person to talk about it. And so I'm very curious. If people think that is something that I should prioritize as content, I'm digging into. Yeah, Tammy is just, she's phenomenal. Her statement, even just a couple of days ago, is another proof of that. Animal companions, okay. Animal companions. I have a spreadsheet. I have it split. I have, like, mortal animal companions, immortal-ish animal companions, so, like, thinking Griffin, Darkings. And then I also have a whole separate category for horses. Because there are just enough of them, and they deserve their own section. So, animal companions, love it. Ace, yes. Possible great romantic, I completely agree. More content about age gaps. I know. I'm just a little afraid because it's a hot topic and people have feels about it. And I love discourse. I love a back and forth. I have personal insight, personal experience, and there's just a lot of it. Age gaps. Oh, okay. So there's a question about, like, where does Chime fall into that? I don't know Chime yet. We haven't gotten there in Circle of Magic yet, so I'm holding off on Chime at the moment. Faithful, I don't think I have Faithful on the list yet. Faithful's sitting, like, off in his own little category as a constellation, because if there was ever, like, if I'm gonna do a ranking, we all know where Faithful would end up. Although, to be honest with everyone, I love Cloud. I really love Cloud. Cloud is just so sassy, but that's also what I love about Faithful. So, yes. I'm curious, where would people... I think Faithful is in his own category, but I would put him in like the immortal companion section if I had to choose between those three. Sky Song and Kitten I would also put in that same. I love Sky Song and Kitten. I do too, but I think while Kitten can communicate, I think there's something like in a very unique way. I think there's something different with the mind to mind conversation. Faithful's such a good cat. Faithful is whatever he chooses to be at the moment. I completely agree. We love you. So doing more of a dive into the animals. I think that even when we think about like the mortal animals, there are several animals that not even like serve a purpose, but are really critical characters themselves. But if I did like a ranking of 5, like I have for other videos, they just wouldn't break into that top 10, but I still really, really love them. Like I'm thinking about the otter in particular with Dane, when she healed the otter. I really loved that interaction, and I thought that it was such a pivotal moment for her and her character, that I wouldn't want to like neglect making a video about the animals and like just not have the otter on there. So there's so many different ways to go about it. Chime would be with the Darkings. Yeah, they're both made by magic. Faithful would be mortal for sure. He can be, yes, technically banished. There were some, yes, what was that about? Faithful's just, we love. And the bats with, yes. I love the bats with Dane, like the idea of the bat counting versus the owl counting. Brilliant. And the wolves too. Like there are so many animal characters throughout those books. And I mean like Shriek in Circle of Magic. I wish we saw a little bit more of Shriek in Daja's book. And he was there on occasion, but nothing better happened to Shriek. I'd be sad. I'd be very sad. Fabulous. So this is good. This is really helpful. I appreciate everybody's input and ideas. I have Jump is Goat. Jump is phenomenal. And all of the like other stray dogs that they pick up along the way. Love it. So I'm always looking for content ideas, especially if I know that there's just not a lot of Tamora Pierce content out there right now. And so if you have any requests, there is a channel in the Discord to put in requests. And several people have also offered to help with deep research, and I might be reaching out to you in the next week or so, possibly, if I can get my act together, to figure out what we're doing, because this has been so much fun. So as we're like winding down book club today, yes, be helpful, thank you. Winding down book club for today. The announcements are go check out the Facebook and Discord servers. There's one that's like actually for Tamora Pierce, and it has like 1,000 people in it, and it's very awesome, and they have like very cool roles, and it's been around a long time. It was a little overwhelming for me, who has never been on Discord before. But if you have, like, if that's a good intersection for you, they are there. And then this book club has a Discord channel as well. I think it's called Misfits Book Club. And we have phenomenal people already in it. It's rapidly becoming my favorite place on the internet. And I really hope that you'll hang out there. And if the other big thing is my videos, TikTok has not been pushing them out. I promise I'm posting every day. But like the one I posted this morning has like 14 views. So if you don't see me on your page, on your For You page, you might have to come find me. I know, there's been a Tamora Pierce Discord server this whole time. I know. Shocking. And so it's intense. It's intense. I really like it. But it is a little intimidating for me. So it's out there. We have one as well that has been so helpful for me. I turn to it a lot. Again, it's like my favorite thing on the internet at the moment. And so I'm going to grab some dinner, and then I'll probably lurk on the Discord after this. Not just lurk, I'm learning Discord. And so, does anybody have last, like, hello things? Yes, where she is. She's napping. She was not as excited about book club, but she's there. My little old lady. So fabulous. I'm so excited that everyone was here. Any things before we wind down for the week? Oh yes, don't forget next week. Next week is Briar's book. Oh, I will absolutely give her some love. She's been surprisingly cuddly today. She's a dog who prefers to stay in eyes view, but right out of arm's length. She's always arm's length away. So I will harass her and give her some belly loves from everyone. Yes, any last things? Next week is Briar's book. It'll be a time. I can promise that. Whatever it is, it'll be a time. So yes. Any last little anything? Fabulous. Thank you all so much for coming. This was phenomenal. Best part of my week. I'll be on the Discord server in a little bit. I want to grab some food and all of that, but then I'll hop on there. And I will upload not just this live, but some of the last 2 lives that we did too. That way, if you missed out on those, you can watch them. I'm so happy y'all are here. So, hello. And with all that, I'll see you all next week.